Okay, let's see. Is the mic working? Okay. All right. So good. I got it set up right. Sometimes in the past when I've gone live, I with this laptop, I don't set up the audio correctly, but I see the little dots moving as I speak. So it's been a little while since I've maybe a week or so since I've gone live. I've been kind of focusing on my own some personal things um, for myself. Um, it's really cold. It's winter right now. I mean, it's winter, but I mean it's cold like to a point where it's been below zero right today. Right now, it's 14 degrees Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit. So I've been kind of secluded to stay inside because um I like to work out. I like to take a walk here and there when it's at least somewhat okay. And you know, and so I find ways to work out, which I'm going to talk about at the end of my live stream. But the reason I was compelled to go live is because one of the things that I do, I see somebody's putting hearts in there. Thank you very much. I love you too, whoever you are. Um, One of the things that I do is I watch First Amendment auditors, and one of the things that I've talked about in the past about the choices that I've make about one of the things is that I don't watch the news. All right, so in a way, like watching these channels, you like on YouTube, in a way, it is kind of like watching the news, but it's watching it through their perspective, right? So when I watch it, and then I mean, obviously, if you do watch the news, even if you do watch the news, you should be able to discern for yourself if you want to go down that path and believe what they say, you know. Um, so I don't know why it looks like I'm being delayed here. Let me see if I can turn this off here. I was I was playing chess earlier, so sometimes when I play chess, it slows down some of the other features that I have. Anyway, so when I watch these First Amendment auditors and they're fully geared with all this camera stuff, right? And they walk and they're basically on a sidewalk or on a public easement, right? And as they're filming, because we have, as you know, the Bill of Rights, the First Amendment is there's five pillars, right? Um, like freedom of speech and freedom of press, freedom of religion, freedom to regress your government, and I forget the last one, but freedom of press is one of them. And people think that you need a press badge to film. I mean, not everyone, but I'll, most people have a cell phone nowadays. And look, you can see mine has a camera. Everyone almost. I don't know any cell phones that don't have a camera, right? So you're walking around with a camera if you have a cell phone. So if you turn on your camera and if you're in a private setting like in somebody's house or in a private store or inside any store, that's a private sector, right? But if you're on a public easement on a sidewalk, it's free game. Like I've gone to festivals like not necessarily carnival, but like a fair, all right, a fair where there's rides and food and things like that. People are taking pictures all the time, and and when you take a picture, you don't take a picture and notice other people in the background. You just take it, right? But the thing that gets me is, why are people so paranoid over a camera? I don't understand what the fear is. There's cameras. The fear is there's cameras everywhere. You go into a store to buy something, they have like 100 cameras all over the place if it's like Walmart or something like that. Police stations. I mean, there's like door cams, like but whatever you call them, ring cameras. There's like the dash cams. Teslas have like 9, 10 different cameras all over the car. I mean, there's cameras everywhere. The only reason people get, for whatever reason, they get triggered because there's a person standing behind that camera, like it's creepy or something. And the point that First Amendment auditors are just trying to make is that, hey, I'm just another camera that out of the all of the other 100 cameras that when you left your house today or the place that you live in, I'm just one more camera out of all the hundreds of cameras that are out there. Why are you scared of me? You know. And one of the other things that I've noticed is without all this Antifa and the ICE thing that's happening, which of course we know Trump started. Um, and people are protesting and people are getting killed over it. Um, some of the First Amendment auditors mask up. Mask. I mean, they wear like, they mask like a whole. They wear all black and they have like a mask that's all black and they wear like sunglasses and a hat like mine or any other hat, and they might dress in all black. So then people think, oh, are you ICE? Are you oh, you're Antifa? And so that's where the programming continues. When you watch the news, and you get programmed into saying, oh shit, there's Antifa, there's ICE, they're coming after me, they're coming after people. And this whole war thing has started again. This whole war thing has started again. There was the last war was COVID, and that was the world war. Okay, this is a sort of a North American war, because it's happening in Canada and here in the United States, because every people are protesting everywhere, and you see people wearing masks, and then they're protesting, and there's violence, and all that stuff. So then they get programmed into believing that if you wear a mask now, you're part of that sort of movement or protest or war, whatever you want to call it. But that's why you have to be careful, to be a critical thinker, and to say, hey, am I going to go down that rabbit hole, or am I going to be able to discern for myself and say, no, this is crazy. I'm not going to even get into it. First of all, I'm an American citizen, so for me, I don't even have to worry about it. If I was an illegal immigrant, then yeah, you should worry about it, because they're getting crazy around here. Even in my small town that I live in. Um, for example, I'll give you a personal example. My mother, she was born in Mexico, right? But she became a U.S. citizen about 50 years ago. She's in her 70s now, right? And so she has a passport, and she watches the news just like any other mainstream regular person, right? So she watches the news and she gets paranoid about everything, just like anybody else that watches the news. And there's a negative, uh, if there's that negative news that's going on around the world or around the area or the United States, then um, then she gets triggered by it, you know. And so now the example I'm trying to give is that she carry I don't know how it came up, but she carries her passport wherever she goes now. And I asked her, I don't know how it came up, but it came up. And I was like, "Why are you carrying your passport?" And she's like, "Because of ICE." And I was like, and this is what I'm talking about. That my own mother is part of the whole mainstream watching the news paranoia thing. She's a US citizen now, but she's paranoid because all this ICE thing and the violence and the protesting, and she's afraid that she's going to get caught, or I'm sorry, not get caught, uh get, uh forced to go back to Mexico against her will, and not believe that she is a US citizen now, right? And this is my own mother. So if it's happening with my own mother, I know it's happening across the board, you know. So, and that's why that's part of the reason why I wanted to go live to talk about it, because I watch and I keep subbing to new First Amendment auditors, and and because they all have a different approach to it. Some of them are a little bit more aggressive. Um, some of them, most of them that I sub to are very actually cordial with people, and they actually have fun doing it. So they don't come off aggressive, and they're very well versed in the law. So whenever a police officer or a person, a private citizen, tries to tell them, "Hey, shut your camera off. I don't want to be videotaping all that." And if a police officer is not uh, aware of the rights that we private citizens have, they will get educated. Um, and that when police officers cross that line and arrest First Amendment auditors for that, they get lawsuits. So, and I remember in the beginning when I first started watching this stuff like about a year ago, um, like Long Island audits. Let's see, who else did I watch? Um, I can't remember all of them, but some of the new ones right now are like Impact Media. Uh, that's in the U.S. True North Transparency. He's in Canada, and they're very well versed in the law. So whenever a police officer tries to cross the line and say, "Hey, you need to turn that camera off," no, he's standing, or the First Amendment auditor is standing on a sidewalk. So they're starting to learn now. If this didn't start a year ago, the aggression, the aggressiveness that the ego, I'll say it that way, the ego that a lot of police officers have is they think that because they have a badge, right? Because they have a badge that they can control people, you know? And that's like disgusting, man, because the thing is you're supposed to serve and protect, right? That's just logically what they're supposed to do. They get paid by the taxpayers. So they should be listen to they should be trying to educate themselves constantly to understand what's happening. And if it wasn't for these First Amendment auditors a year ago that started this a year ago, we wouldn't be here today. Where a lot of cops now, when I watch these videos, they understand it now. A lot of them say, "No, he's allowed to do it. He's not. He didn't. Did he threaten you? Did he provoke any violence on you? Did he touch you? Did he assault you? Anything?" A lot of them that I've seen know it, and the ones that don't get educated by these First Amendment auditors because they recite laws and case law with different cases that happen, and the Supreme Court has ruled that we can private citizens, anybody with a camera, as long as you're on a public easement or in public, you can put your camera out and film, or not, well, film like digital film, right? Or digital video cam, uh, anything. I mean, if you walk into a store, a private store, yeah, that's different. Um, then you can try it, but if they tell you you can't film, and then or you have to leave, then you have to obey, or you're gonna get trespassed or arrested. So that's why I have a lot of respect for people who go out in public and do this, because they're true patriots of of what this country is supposed to be built on. Not just this country, but like any other country. The government, and one of the things that I always say when I go live or when I talk to anybody with these kind of subjects is the government, right? To govern meant to govern your mind. So they want to control us, right? They want to control you. So do what I say, or we're gonna you're there's we're gonna arrest you, we're gonna do whatever. You're gonna have to pay fines, things like that. So once you get versed in these law and these freedom of speech and everything, freedom of religion. I'm not religious, but your freedom of press, you can film whatever you want or in public. Um, Freedom to protest, freedom to redress your government, and to say, hey, something's wrong here, and question them. That's what the Bill of Rights are all about. And Canada has the same thing. I don't The Charter of Rights, I'm not sure exactly. They have a parliament, so it's everything's worded a little bit differently. Like they have a prime minister, and we call it a president, right? So, but it's basically the same. It's the same concept, it's the same thing. So, yeah. So like I watch these, and then the other thing that happens is the thing that is just shocking to me is when a First Amendment auditor, let's say he or she goes to a post office and just because we are allowed to film in a post office because it's a public accessible place for citizens, and if it's even if it's government, right, federal government, that makes it even more public. As long as you're not going into someone's office, you can film anything in the lobby or anything you can see. And then people get all crazy and they start attacking the auditor. And one of the things that auditors do, and I shouldn't laugh, I kind of makes me want to laugh, but some of these people start attacking the auditor, but the auditors are prepared because they're like, hey, you know what? Maybe some people might invoke violence on me, and so they have pepper spray, and I've seen people get sprayed many times, and it's even women. I saw a woman, attack. She got triggered real quick, and the guy was just standing. He wasn't even like, getting close to her. He was just standing there, and then she got okay, it's wah, wah, wah," whatever, and then she started grabbing his stuff and then yanked it and pulled it out of his hand, and then he took out his pepper spray, sprayed it all over her face, and she wouldn't stop. She still kept trying to swing the stick at her, the camera stick, and then he took another one out and sprayed her again. And it's like, why? Over a camera? Come on, man. We are getting filmed everywhere we go now. You know, Again, I'm going to say it again. Teslas record us. There's cameras in a store, there's cameras everywhere. Um, Dash cams. I mean, it's endless. It's endless. And so who cares? In fact, I like being on camera, you know. And it's not that you have to like it. It's that you just have to accept it. Whether you like it or not, you have to accept it. That's the age and the world that we live in now, everywhere. So that's what prevents people from stealing in stores, or it can actually solve murders because it solved many murders because the ring cams on houses for doors have actually caught people that were murderers through those cams. The police can go into and ask any store that has a camera sticking outside looking at the public, whether it's a restaurant, a store, a bank, and then say, hey, we want to see footage of this. We want to see if this is one of our clues that could possibly lead to solve who killed this person. And they get that footage, and and it's actually a good thing because then they solve uh, or people that murder people. And so it actually can be a very good thing. Now, the other thing on the negative side, though, there are people who abuse that sort of thing and who are like, I don't want I don't want to get a strike, but there are like SA people that SA kids, right? I'll just say it that way. Um, and there's pornography, right? And that's you know, and that's another subject that kind of connects to this in a way because there are other people that actually catch online predators. Um, they pose as a decoy. There's I mean, one of them is 516 PC or something like that. I watch him a lot, or not a lot, but I watch his content. There was Creep Catchers. I forget what his name, his user channel. He hasn't been on anything new in a while. He made me a moderator, one of them, but he hasn't been on for a long time. So I don't know. He's probably focusing on his personal things, but that's another thing that kind of connects to that because those predators get caught trying to trying to hook up with a little kid. Adults trying to hook up with a little kid, and then they go and they say, "Let's meet up at Walmart or wherever," and they go and they actually catch them in the store, and they get them. They basically catch them and say, "Hey, your name is what, so and so," and they actually have the cops kind of waiting for them outside, and they get arrested, right? So all this technology is happening. You can't escape it. One of the other things that's happening is AI, like artificial intelligence, and that's sort of taken over the world right now. It's been happening for over a decade, maybe more than that, and but now it's getting like to a point where it's robots and it's basically robots that are taking over humans in the workforce. Um, One of the things that I heard from one of the YouTubers is that Amazon is starting to by the end of this year in October, I think they said October was going to remove 30,000 employees, white collar corporate employees, because they're going to start using AI technology to do their job. So, and I've worked in different jobs where there's robots that in manufacturing companies that move product from one place to another as opposed to a human taking it by hand, right? So that's been happening for a long time. Now it's rolling out in the corporate sector. So it's real, man. Tesla's, other cars, you can put it on auto control. They drive on their own. You don't even have to. You shouldn't be sleeping in your car when you're driving it, but or when the car's driving on its own. But Teslas can auto control themselves. You can control so that if you're on a highway, you just put it on auto and and it drives on its own. So it's happening everywhere. So these cameras, you shouldn't be surprised. You shouldn't. People, I don't understand why people are so afraid of these things. But anyway, I thought I'd get that off my chest. It's been kind of bothering me for a while, but um, I like I said, it's really cold out here right now, so it's hard for me to be out there um, and do the same thing. I would love to, but just I just right now I can't really tolerate the cold. As you can hear, my throat is kind of not all there. But anyway, I just want to leave on a positive note. Just thought I'd. Oh wait, you know what? Hold on. Let me hold on 1 second. I just post some links in here. This is Impact Media. Um, it's one of the First Amendment auditors. One of my favorites. Actually, he is one of my favorites. He is my favorite. This is True North Transparency. It's another link on there. He's from Canada, so I'm putting two examples of how they do it. They do it similar ways, um, and they kind of have fun when they do it. So it's kind of cool when they do it, and they're very well versed and very well educated when they do it. So Check those two out, and then they actually collab with other people like what was it, FOFA, I think. I'm not sure what, something like that. So the FOFA, I think it's called, they're a little bit more aggressive, right? Um, they have actually gone into fights with people because when they get attacked, when they have gotten attacked, they attack back. So they don't just they might have pepper spray. I don't know. I've never seen them put pepper spray, but I've seen them get into a fist fight with people that when they get like hit or attacked, they go hands on. And that's what I mean by everyone has a different approach. So some people go hands on. Impact Media, never, I've seen him go hands on, but that's when he's truly defending himself. Um, and True North Transparency, same thing. He's more like Impact Media. Um, the thing with FOFA is that he sort of he doesn't back away. He just once he gets triggered, he says, "Hey, come on, let's go." He eggs him on to keep going. I wouldn't do that, but that's his approach, right? That's his style. Um, but anyway, check those links out. If you don't like it, obviously just don't sub or don't check it out. But those are good tools for me. They've been good tools for me to understand what's happening here in this country and in Canada with with our rights, with our freedoms. And I think the title that I put on here is "Our Freedoms Are Being Taken Away." And this has been happening for a long time, but now, especially with this Antifa thing and this ICE thing, it's really escalating it to another level. So this is like another civil war that's happening, that's causing a civil war. Um, in this country and in Canada, because as you know, in this country, in America, and I'm pretty sure this is like in Britain. Pinky Twinkie, hey, Pinky Twinkie, hey, Melinda, if you want to call me, give me a call. I want to apologize for if I offended you in any way. I'd like to talk to you again, but yeah, it's been um one of the things that's happened to me is I had my appendix removed, just so you know. I had my appendix removed about 2 months ago, and, I thought I don't know, I didn't know what the hell it was, but I had this pain on the side, and I was like, "What the hell is going on?" And then by the 3rd day, I guess I woke up sweating, and I was, like, in tears because the pain was so bad, and it was, like, 11 o'clock at night, and I immediately went to the, okay, tomorrow, anytime. If you still have my number, just if not, I'm not gonna post my number on here. Yeah, it's bad, I know. Here, hold on. Let me make you a moderator. I just I'm doing it because I want to make sure nobody messes with you. Uh, just in case. And not that I have a whole lot of people coming in here. So just click on accept, and then you're gonna be in blue whenever you type something in there. Just go ahead and type anything in there, and then you'll see yourself in blue, and so that way you can moderate. If uh, I never had more than a few people on here at the most, but you can moderate, or you're protected on my channel whenever I go live. So but yeah, so I had my appendix removed, but it's a simple procedure. I was actually kind of, obviously, with any surgery, people are going to be a little bit scared. So see, there it is, you got your wrench. So yeah, but so anyway, I went live because I thought I'd talk about First Amendment auditing, and because it's really important right now in these times. You're welcome. In these times that are happening right now, and like I said, my mother carries her passport wherever she goes now because she's scared. She's terrified of that they might take her, even though she is legally a citizen now. Like I was born here, so I have my birth certificate around my bedroom somewhere. So, but I'm not. I don't have that paranoia in me to carry my birth certificate wherever I go. Here, I'm an American citizen. Here, look. No, come on, man. I can't live like that. I can't live like that. When the whole COVID thing hit, and Pinky Twinky, Melinda, you know this. We used to talk about this and laugh at it. When people are driving, I'm feeling better right now. So thank you for saying that. When people are driving by themselves, you would see them wearing a mask and they're driving by themselves. That's how programmed that it was when COVID hit. People, you're driving by yourself and you're wearing a mask. Why? It's crazy. That's why I haven't watched. I haven't like watched the news. What is it? 2026 now. I think around 2008. I'm gonna just put a year out there. Whatever many years that is. I don't watch the news anymore because that's the paranoia. You watch that. Hey, did you see what happened in the news yesterday? And then the gossip and explosion is everywhere now, and that's gravitated or implemented in your mind now, and the paranoia starts. And it's crazy. You walk in, like when the whole COVID thing, I remember they would have signs, wear a mask. You know what? Those masks that they sell, the blue ones, they're not medically certified to prevent sicknesses. It even says it on the bottom of the box. Not, what is it? I'm not gonna. I don't memorize it, but it says something like, "Not for medical purposes, not made for medical purposes." So it's not going to prevent you from getting sick. Like if you have a cold, it might prevent someone else from getting the cold from you not breathing on them. But for you getting sick, it's not a medically, unless you're wearing like a full freaking gas mask. That's the only way, man. And that'd be ridiculous walking around like that, right? I had a I had a somebody sent me this funny little video about the COVID thing. And this guy, I don't know what country it was. It seemed like it was Europe or something. And he was in a train. I think I sent that to you, Pinky Twinky. Um, he was in a train and he was wearing like a suit, like a hazmat suit, right? A yellow hazmat suit, and he was wearing goggles and like a mask, and he was wearing gloves, and and he had a tape measure, and he was in the train, and everybody was wearing a mask at that time, right? So he's sitting there wiping down. He's sitting down in his little seat right there in the train seat, and he's wiping down all the like vigorously wiping everything down. He's like, sorry, my laptop. He's just wiping everything down, and then he sees somebody standing close to him. He takes his tape measure out, and he's like measuring 6 feet, and he's like, "Hey, stand back 6 feet," and then everybody's laughing at it because how ridiculous is that? But it's funny because it's so stupid, it's ridiculous, and he did it in a way to make it visual for for people to see how stupid that is, to be that paranoid, to wear a hazmat suit, to wear a full mask, goggles, have a tape measure out and say 6 feet, 6 feet, walk around with a frickin' tape measure on everybody. Wait, no, 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 I'm gonna get sick. Paranoia that the news does is crazy, man. It's crazy. So be careful watching the news. If you're a critical thinker and say, hey, that doesn't seem right to me, at least let me question it. That's what a critical thinker is. You just say, I might be wrong, but I want to question it because I'm not sure that's right. And that's it. And you might have your own religious beliefs. And if it's, I'm not religious, right? but I know that, I have, I know that there is this was created in some way. It's not some Big Bang theory that there was nothing, and all of a sudden these beautiful things are human beings and all these animals and trees and lakes and ponds and oceans. Um, all right, Melinda, you have a good day at work. We'll talk tomorrow if you give me a call. You have a great day too. All right. So, yeah, Pinky Twinkie, we go way back. Well, I'm not gonna go into specifics, but we talked on the phone a lot for for at least more than 2 years, on and off. Uh, but yeah, she's a great person. Um, but anyway, so I came on just to really talk about the First Amendment auditors, and this is, one of the other things about this, and I think I might have mentioned it. If not, I'm going to say it again. Is that they are making sure that the government is held accountable, because these police officers and government officials in courthouses, in city halls, in police stations, that their ego doesn't control people and say, no, you can't be in here. Yes, I can. I can film in the lobby. Yes, I can. And you have to, these First Amendment auditors are doing a great job by holding these government officials accountable, especially police officers, because once you give a gun and a badge to a police officer and all these other weapons that they have, pepper spray, they think they're untouchable. A lot of them. They think they can just boss you around, control you. Be careful. Know your laws, know your rights. And that's what these First Amendment auditors are doing. So anyway, check those two channels out if you want. I did post them in the chat. Yeah, they're just I'm scrolling up. I didn't really expect anybody to come in the chat, but um, yeah, an old friend came in. So anyway, I'm gonna end the live, but one more thing on a positive note. I mean, this is a positive note, but another thing is, I have this, book, right? It's kind of like a diary, so to speak, of because I started to work out again, and one of the things um, that I do within this book is I write down what I did that day as far as a workout, because it's a good, excuse me, it's a good timeline for me to see how I'm improving with my workout from this week to next month. And when I look back on some of the things that I wrote down before, I'm like, I can see the progress that I made with with my improvement, because on a positive, the reason I'm trying to say this is because if you have a goal, whatever goal it is to achieve, try to write things down, do a timeline, so you know that you have a time, that you want that timeline to see your progression, because it's a form of positive reinforcement to make you feel good about, hey, I feel good because all this hard work that I've done, I've seen the improvement over time, and it's a positive feeling. It makes you feel great. Makes me feel great that, hey, I remember, a month ago I could barely do a mile, or I could, like, for me it's working out, right? I could barely do this. Now I can do more, or whatever goals you have. For me, it's working out, right? Whatever goals you have, if it's school, if it's um, losing weight. Some people want to lose weight. If it's quitting smoking or quitting any bad habits that you might have, and just put a timeline on it, and then it's like you're giving yourself recognition for your self improvement, and that's what I get away from that sometimes, because I do get away from it because I can have my own bad habits, and but this is a good way for me to keep myself focused on improving myself. So you can find something like within yourself, or something that you love to do or like to do, and put it on a calendar, put it put it on a little book like what I have, so you can visually see it. One of the things I used to do is I used to put a calendar on my wall, a big one, and I used to so that I could visually wake up to see it. Right, I would put it right in front of my bed and say, "This is," and then that I could see it every day to remind me of what I'm doing, and my improvement, that I'm improving my progression. So I encourage you guys, anybody, men, women, children, whoever. I know children don't sub my channel. That'd be kind of strange. But anybody, family, people in your family, um, write it down. It'll help you, remind you that you're you know getting better or improving, that you're succeeding in whatever you feel like doing. That's positive for yourself or for your family. So anyway, I'm going to end on that note, and thank you for tuning in. Anybody else? I saw other people. There was like three people that come in at some point, but a lot of times I talk about other subjects, but this is the first time I really went into the First Amendment auditors, and I didn't really. I just went through the basics. So basically, don't be afraid of a camera. It's okay. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. So just because a person is behind that camera doesn't make it any different, you know? So anyway, peace, love to everybody, and take care of yourselves. And if feel compelled to talk about something else, I'll do another live stream. So anyway, take care. Bye.